Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Any changes to the agenda, Lisa? Nothing?
No.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as is.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor? 5-0. Okay, we got some minutes to go through here on 6/16 of 2025, 5/27/2025 work session. Entertain a motion.
I've got a question about some of those dates,
Okay.
the year dates. They may need to be looked at. Some of them are saying 25, it should be 24.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve these minutes on the grounds of just, we may need to tweak some of those dates.
Okay.
And allow the clerk to make those changes.
Some of them are for 24.
But it's 20, yeah, the one he's got a question about, it's August 25 on here, on the minutes itself.
Okay.
So it's just dated wrong. I think it's the correct minutes,
Okay.
but I make that motion on those grounds.
All right, we got a motion. Bobby's got another question.
For Heather, some of these minutes, you go back to 24. I've got no idea if they're accurate or not accurate. Once we vote and approve these minutes, then they go into our book as being accurate. So I'm just a little confused about how you vote on something that you don't really know if it's accurate or not.
The minutes are based off of actual recordings. So I think if there was an issue, what you probably could do is just what Timmy did, which is say that you're going to vote subject to revision if you review the recorded minutes and you find something that might be inaccurate. Because unfortunately, what you're going to end up doing is if you don't vote on it now, maybe subject to that, and then review, then you're going to kick it down for the next meeting. And somebody, maybe as yourself, would have to go back and listen to the entire meeting in order to determine if those are correct. But if they've been taken from the meeting, because I certainly don't think it would have been taken from memory at this point, so it would have been from a direct recording. I think if you just say subject to amendment by the clerk, if there's an error that is discovered, review it, the same thing, you could come back.
Come
And
back and change it.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, we got a motion. Need a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Just for the record, 2 commissioners was not here last year with myself and Garrison, just to make that knowledge. So anyway, we've got a motion and a second. No further discussion. All in favor? 5-0. Okay. Minutes on 7/1/24 work session, 7/15/2024, 8/15/2024, and 8/19/2024. Need a motion to approve those.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that with the same caveat that Timmy had on the other minutes.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Not all in favor? 5-0. Okay, we'll open the floor to public comment time. If anyone has anything they want to say, please come forward.
There you go.
Hey.
Chairman Osborne, can I pass these pictures out so
Yes, ma'am.
you'll,
Yes, ma'am.
it's something that I'll be addressing, and let y'all just share that, if you don't mind.
You, get back up there, state your name, just for the record. Thank you.
Has your age and everything.
Thank you. Take a picture of me, give me a copy.
So we can see that.
That's you.
Yes.
I am Carolyn Pruitt, and I am a resident of Alleghany County. And I am here to address the situation that happened on June the 14th at the No Kings protest that protesters held at our courthouse in Alleghany County. That protest was nationwide, not just in our county. There was about 2,000 protests that took place in the United States. Democracy is one of the many things that that group stands for. As I stand here, I will say this. I am neither Democrat nor Republican. I am nonpartisan. I vote for the person. So this has nothing to do with politics when I address this situation. It is my understanding that our county commissioners make decisions on behalf of citizens. You oversee county operations. You manage our budget. You set direction, policy, property taxes, public health, etc. In other words, you work to improve the quality of life in Alleghany County. And I truly believe that you do that. With the exception of things that happen as it did on June the 14th. We had a county commissioner wear an ICE t-shirt and stand at the courthouse, at the doors of our courthouse. Now, wearing an ICE t-shirt could be misinterpreted as representing the official views or policies of the county government. I know most of you pretty well, and I do not believe that that represented your views. Wearing a nice t-shirt might constitute impersonating a public official, especially if that shirt says ICE federal agent. It leads people to believe that you are an authorized agent, which obviously is illegal. Wearing an ICE t-shirt is inappropriate. It violates ethical standards. It creates a conflict of interest with citizens in Alleghany County. And I'll say this, I guarantee that it would also work that same way in any other county. But because I am passionate about my county, then that's why I'm here. Standing at that courthouse door, first of all, inside that courthouse, even judges have a dress code. If I walked in that courthouse and I had that ICE shirt on, standing in that courtroom, I would be asked to leave, change my shirt, or cover it up. It is offensive wording in my county. While performing official duties and interacting with the public, there should be a requirement for suitable attire. County commissioners should be expected to uphold the integrity and the dignity of this county and avoid any appearance of impropriety. That didn't happen that day as far as I'm concerned. And let me just tell you this. I drove by that protest, and you know what? I respected those people. And that's what we do in my county. We treat people with respect, no matter what their views are, what their religion is, or what their politics are. It would certainly be more constructive and advantageous to our community that instead of standing around with an ICE t-shirt on as a county commissioner, that you educate the community. If you want to do something, then you go hand out information, you hand out materials that to these immigrants, and you assist them with the naturalization process. Become an advocate, not a discriminator. And it was true discrimination on our county commissioner's part that day. We have a large number of Hispanics in our community, and they are assets. They are business owners, they are farm workers, they are construction workers, they are healthcare workers, and I can go on. I went to the 8th grade graduation because I'm a mentor in our school system. If I had to guess, 80% of the children that stood on that stage and received awards were Hispanic. So, instead of being perceived as disruptive, why not highlight the impact of family separation and pathways to citizenship in our community? I'll be the first one to tell you I'd love to see everybody legal, but let me tell you, it goes back hundreds of years in this United States. And believe me, Irishmen, Italians, African Americans, not just Hispanics, still live here that didn't come here legally, and we embrace them. Have a positive impact in our community, please. Not wearing an ICE t-shirt, because you will not ever represent this county when you do that. People may feel like burning the flag, and we wouldn't dare tolerate that. So we need to pay attention to what it means to be a human and what true humanity means in Alleghany County. It means compassion, it means sympathy, it means generous behavior. And I need to know where you stand today as county commissioner. And if that's where you stand, you will not have many votes this next go round. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carroll. Anybody else for public comment?
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Trish Gardner. I live here in Alleghany County. Firstly, I'd like to say that my comments here today are not intended to support or promote any political party. However, the incident I'd like to discuss, like Carolyn, did take place at the political rally held in Sparta on June 14th. I was present at the No Kings rally in front of our courthouse. The rally was peaceful. During the rally, I noticed a gentleman was present wearing a shirt that said ICE Federal Agent. ICE Federal Agent. Later, I was told that the person was our County Commissioner, Greg Walker. I was troubled by this, so I tried twice to reach Mr. Walker to hopefully discuss this directly. But to date, I have not received a response. Mr. Walker, I don't know you personally, but I assume you are not an ICE Federal Agent. I don't know what your intentions were that day. I don't know your heart. But I can tell you that the effect of your presence wearing that shirt was profound. People were intimidated. People were made to feel unsafe. And that should not be happening in our county or anywhere, in my opinion. I feel strongly that county officials who swore an oath to our state and to the U.S. Constitution should be respectful of all the people of Alleghany County, regardless of political affiliation, and should support our First Amendment rights to peacefully protest without feeling threatened or intimidated. Our current political climate is highly charged. We all know that. Feelings and beliefs run deep, and I do understand that. But I'm asking you, the members of this board, to remember that you serve all of us from an office of honor, from an office of privilege. You deserve our respect, and we deserve your respect. How you present yourselves in the community matters. It matters. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you. We appreciate your comments. Anyone else? Ms. Barbara?
I'm Barbara Halsey, and I do not have any notes. And before I address that, I want to say to all of you that I am working extremely hard to do everything I can to make our county and our town better. I know Garrison, I know Bobby, I know Bill, I know Timmy, and I know Greg. And I don't know how many of you know this, but I have formed a nonprofit called Sparta Forward. And that nonprofit had maybe 60 members 2 or 3 weeks ago. We now have almost 300 members. Those people, I put out a plea on social media and I said, I need 50 people to give me $200. If 50 people will give me $200, I'll get $10,000. I told Garrison and Bill and our wonderful new county manager that I raised that in over a week. So all of those beautiful flower pots that you see on the street with flowers, people have paid for those from this county. I had 2 people that gave me $1,000 each. I had people that gave me $50 each, and I had a lot of people that gave me $200 each. And we need you all to do everything you can to make our county better. Everything you can. We have a wonderful county manager sitting over here, and I know he's on our side. I want to see the town, I want to see the county work together. I've been here a long time, and I know all of you, and I know that what Greg Walker did that day, and I was not there, Greg, but I met you at Crave, and you walked out on me. You got up and left the meeting. I was so appalled. And I voted for you, Greg Walker. I did. And I'm embarrassed that I did that. And you will not get my vote again. And I am so appalled at what you did that day in our county, because none of these people here would have done that. And I know that. And you make our county look bad. And I'm doing everything I can to pull us together, to make us attractive. And I'm a volunteer. I get no money for this. And then you, in 5 minutes, can tear down everything that I've worked hard to do.
Hey,
And
let me
I
say
appreciate
Let me
it.
say something right here. Direct your comments to the full board. We got
Okay.
some rules here.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So with all of you here, I would appreciate everything you can do to help us. I met with, I think, Garrison and Bill and our new county manager and told you one thing that I would love to see that Sparta Forward could do is to trim the tree that's in the area beside the courthouse. This week, we lost a beautiful piece of artwork from Daniel Cater. He went and picked it up because he had given it to the county and he had installed it there. And because the tree is so large, you couldn't even see it. So he's already taken it away. But Jim and I went and sprayed the weeds. We didn't have permission, but I knew it was the 4th of July and I knew people were coming in the town. Carolyn and I have pulled weeds. But if that's the part of the county that you have on Main Street, the county owns that little section right there by the courthouse. So if you could maybe look at that tree and help us out with it, I would certainly appreciate it, because we would love to plant some flowers there, and we will do everything we can to make it look better if you'll just help us. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Appreciate it. Main Street does look good. Your flyers driving up through there, they're real pretty. Anyone else have any public comment? If not, we'll close public comment section, move on down to presentation. Chief David Higgins, Lake Creek Fire Department.
Good evening, folks. My name is David Higgins, Chief of Lake Creek Fire Department. And why we came here tonight is to discuss about what it's going to take to lower our ratings. That's something we've been working on, and it takes a lot of time, and it's in our new agreement this year, which is fine. But we just want to talk about what it takes to do that and where we're at. And so for the presentation on this, I'm going to ask our Lieutenant, Mr. Lease, to come up. He's in charge of this more or less, and so I'm gonna ask him to come up and talk to you. And we will be needing some more help on this. I'll just tell you, it's gonna take a lot of money and it's taking a lot of time. So you'll be seeing us more. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. A PowerPoint presentation on this. Is there any way we can put that up so everyone can see it? Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lease. I am the retired fire chief from the town of Wilkesboro. I have about 50 years in the fire service. I've also served as the fire marshal in Harnett County for 5 years. In Harnett, I had 22 districts. All of my districts re-rated and lowered their insurance rating. So what I'm going to come talk to you about tonight is reducing our insurance rating in the Glade Creek Fire District. There's a lot of work involved in doing this. We do have a plan that goes along with what you required in our current contract with the county. And that plan will, as we go through it, we'll be talking about the system, the fire department, developing a water system, communications, which is your biggest factor in us reducing our insurance rate, the timetable that we've got, and the cost benefit analysis to the people in our fire district. The system of inspection involves the fire department, the water system used, and the communication system. As you're well aware, we have no hydrants in our area. We utilize 2 hydrants that belong to the GALAC system, and they allow us to use them if we have a major fire. So we can get water from those. Communication system makes up 10% of pure points toward us lowering our insurance rating. That's where you come in. Because communication system has many facets that have to be satisfied for OSFM, State Office of Fire Marshal, to give us those total 10% of the points. If you'd like to move it over here, we can do that for you, so we don't have to keep going back. Just look over to her when you're ready for the next. Okay, ISO versus North Carolina Office of State Fire Marshal. The Insurance Service Office, or ISO, is the industry standard for rating fire suppression nationwide. They set the standards for everybody. They publish standards that for that rating scale. The scale runs from 10 to 1, with 1 being the best. Most departments in Alleghany County are just like us. They're a 9S. 9S is a grade based off of ISO used by the Office of the State Fire Marshal. 9S is the bare minimum for a rate reduction, meaning we've achieved 10 out of a possible 100 points. So what we're working toward is trying to reduce that and get it down as far as possible. The North Carolina Office of the State Fire Marshal, or NCOSFM, as you'll see on the slides as we go through, is a branch of the North Carolina Department of Insurance. And of course, they set the rates for insurance in the state of North Carolina. Okay. NCOSFM is a branch of state government that oversees fire departments in North Carolina at the state level. They also rate fire suppression systems using a modified ISO scale to where the fire department makes up 50% of the inspection, water supply makes up 40% of the inspection, and as I stated previously, communications makes up 10% of the inspection. Now, when we deal with the fire department, they look at the apparatus, they look at the equipment and supplies, they look at the stations and the locations of the stations and the area that they cover, and they look at personnel and training, they look at tactical capabilities, and then, of course, documentation. The government component, that's y'all, is communications. That's a pure 10%. There are no divergence points. There's no points that we lose if the fire department and communication system aren't equal, or the water system and the communication system aren't equal. Communications is a pure 10%. That's receiving, dispatching, and recording of alarms. Radio equipment. We have areas in this county right now that our radio reception is non-existent. And if we get into a situation such as they had in, I believe it was Idaho just recently, where the fire department was opened up on by a sniper, in certain areas of our district and other departments in this county, we've got no radio communications whatsoever, unless we're on the Viper system. And you'll hear a lot about the Viper system coming up. Dispatch facilities, including the backup for dispatch. Always got to have a backup. And there are requirements that the state and ISO requires for these communications center. Reserve power, things of that nature. These 10 or this 10% of the grading scale can make or break a department in a rating. It can make us go from, if we were getting a 5, push us back up to a 6. Or if we're sitting on a 5 and the communication system is excellent, it could drop us to a 4. And as we talk about this a little bit more, you'll see the benefit of dropping those rates. Water supply and county government components. Water supply type. What type of system are we using? When they can rate one of 3 ways. They can rate hydrants only, such as you would here in Sparta, for the town district. They can look at static water sources. These would be our ponds, lakes, streams, reservoirs, cisterns, swimming pools. As long as they hold 30,000 gallons of water, we can rate them. So it becomes important to have those sporadically throughout your district. I spoke with Vernon Ward today, who is the chief inspector for Office of State Fire Marshal. Mr. Shepley, you might be familiar with Vernon. And he was telling me that they had moved away from the old 1.5 mile water point. In other words, a water point every 1.5 mile road miles in the district. And now they're looking at target hazards, which are your big buildings that can burn, and where the water supply is located close to them. So we've had a shift in that, And we are addressing that with our district. Currently, we've got 64 water points that have been identified. We'll probably back that number down to ones that we would absolutely use if there was a fire and that are close to target hazard buildings. The adequacy for needed fire flow. The needed fire flow is what the state, and you'll have to excuse me, sometimes I say ISO and I mean state of North Carolina, what they consider our fire flow for our fire department is. And it can be anywhere from 500 gallons a minute to a maximum of 3,500 gallons per minute. Now, our apparatus, the pumping capabilities of our trucks, have to meet that needed fire flow. Our water supply and our capability of moving that water has to meet that fire flow. And if for some reason the water supply and the fire department don't jive, if there's a lot of difference, we lose points that way that are called divergence points. And it can be very harmful to a department. So we have to strive to be not just minimally equipped, but adequately equipped to be able to maximize the amount of water that we can get so that our water system and our fire department are very close together, so we reduce the number of divergence points that may affect us. Now, these water supply points have to be available and reliable. There's got to be water there 24 hours a day, 365 days out of the year. They'll pull a 50-year drought record on some of them. The second thing is, if it's snowing, if there's ice out there, and believe me, we get the ice and snow around here, we have to be able to get to those water points. So that requires an all-terrain surface type road for us to be able to get in. Now, the type of system that we're going to be using, because we do have 2 hydrants that we'll be looking at, would be the combination of hydrants and static sources. So when Vernon and his people come in to do the inspection, they're going to check those hydrants and they're going to check every static water point that we have, that we're using, that we identify to them and have certified. They'll physically go out there and look at them to make sure that what we've done is correct. We also use tankers or tenders, as they're called in the incident command system, to move that water back and forth. And as we get a little bit farther into the presentation, you'll see where tankers play a very important role, but we don't get any points for them. It's not like having a hydrant sitting in the ground. We have to have our hydrant on wheels. All right, needed fire flow calculated district by Office of State Fire Marshal. That includes the pumping capacity of the department must meet the needed fire flow for maximum credit. Now, we should be okay there because we've got numerous pumper trucks. We've got more than 4,000 gallons a minute, and maximum they can hit us with is 3,500. So we should be okay there as far as pump capacity. Water supply capability must be able to supply the needed fire flow. That means we've got to be able to get the water from the water point to that building for the maximum amount of fire flow that they say we have to have, and be able to do that reliably. That means lots of tankers, usually. Okay, I talked about the divergence points. Departments must work toward matching their water supply requirements. Use of large diameter supply line. We are the first department in Alleghany County to have a load of 5-inch hose on our trucks. It's currently on the ladder truck. We've got a grant in place for approximately $21,000 with Blue Ridge Foundation. If we get that, that'll get us another 1,500 gallons of another 1,500 feet of 5-inch hose, so we'll be able to space that out on our trucks. The first 1,000 feet of it that we got was from a donation from another fire department on the other side of Morehead City. And I went down one weekend, one Saturday, met with the fire department on Sunday, picked up 1,000 feet of hose and brought it back in my pickup truck. If they're going to give us hose, I'm going to go get it because we need it. The difference between the hose that we were using and the 5-inch is that one 5-inch line will flow the same amount of water as 4 3-inch lines. So that means we would have to lay out 4 3-inch lines, get the same amount of water as this 1 5-inch line. It reduces the pressure that we have to push with our trucks. And because of the hydraulics involved, that allows us to fill tankers even faster, because we don't lose as much on something called friction loss in the hose. When we look at the different things, we look at pumper capacities, we look at aerial apparatus. We're one of 2 departments in the county that has a functioning ladder truck. Ours is a 55-foot telesquirt. We'll talk about it in a minute. We have to have tankers or tenders, support apparatus, and equipment on the apparatus. And again, I want to specify the difference between what they consider minimal equipment and adequate equipment. As a tactician, I will tell you that minimum equipment, it's not adequate. It's not adequate. It's made to get water out of one truck, but not for your trucks to work together like they have to in combination to be able to adequately fight a fire. All the state's saying is, okay, you got this on your truck. You can run to a fire because you got this on your truck. They didn't say you could put it out. So what we're trying to do is make sure that we've got everything that we have to be a functioning, efficient fire department. And we are efficient, very efficient. And I don't think anybody in the county would go against that. Okay, next one, please. Thank you. The fire system. Fire department inspections consist of multiple items: pumping apparatus capacity, equipment on apparatus, number and types of apparatus that the department owns, training records, training facilities, response records, apparatus responding to calls, and personnel responding to calls. And what they look at first is the structure fires. Anything that's called out is a structure fire. Then they go to alarm activations, because alarms are usually in structures. And they'll take a look at the apparatus that responds and the number of people that respond. And the 2 of those combined together become very, very important in helping us with the rating. Now, right now, we're all volunteer. As you go through this rating system, you hit a certain point, and then if you are going to daytime personnel. With the number of calls that we're starting to run in this county, specifically with our district, that's one of the things eventually on down the road that may have to be looked at. And that would be something that would have to be looked at in the contract also, because presently the contract doesn't allow for that as it reads. Water point setup times, fire ground setup times, capacity of water capabilities, and your tanker tender offloading times. The water point setup times, they give us 4 minutes to have a water point established. Tactical setup, we have 4 minutes to be drafting from the tank. Now that's with a 4 or 6 person crew. And that's hustling, because you're talking about taking a 3,000 gallon portable swimming pool off of one of the trucks, dumping water in it, drafting water out of it, having a 200-foot line downrange, and flowing 250 gallons a minute out of that line in 4 minutes from the dump tank, not from your tank on the truck. Pre-incident surveys on target hazards. We have to go through, and on every major building that we've got, church, barn, farming operation, commercial building, we have to do a target hazard. We have to do a pre-fire survey on it. That tells us how much water we have to have for 25% involvement, 50% involvement, 75% involvement, or 100% involvement. And then we have to factor our water resources around what we've got to have to put the building out. Automatic aid drills and mutual aid drills. Automatic aid is when they're dispatched right with you. Mutual aids, if you get there and say, hey, we could use about 5 more tankers on this. And we go back to communications and say, hey, can you call surrounding counties and get us 5 more tankers? And they do. So there's a difference there. And that's one of the communications components also. Cost of fire equipment. 1 self-contained breathing apparatus. The air pack, the tank, and the mask. $10,000. Replacement tank, $1,000. Each engine company has to have 4 of these self-contained breathing apparatus and 4 spare tanks. Now, ISO and state differs a little bit because ISO says on a ladder truck, you got to have 6 and 6. But now the state of North Carolina has said, we'll let you get by with 4 and 4. So that gives you some idea on that. Turnout gear, the helmets like we wear, $450 a pop. 35 of those for a department. That's a bunch of money. 10-year life expectancy on these. 10 years, we have to get rid of them and get new ones. Protective hood, that's just a thing to keep your ears from melting off. $100 a piece. Protective coat and pants, $2,000 per person. And most departments strive to have 2 sets of gear per member because if you got wet gear and you go in a structure fire with it, water and heat produces what? Steam. And the firefighters can be steam burned from that wet turnout gear. So we try to get 2 sets of gear for every member so that if they've got a wet set of gear, we can dry that and they can put their spare set of gear in play so they can still respond to calls. Fire gloves, $100 a pair. Fire boots, $350 a pair. And these are all low side estimates. You can go up as high as $3,500 for a set of gear. Okay? Right. Now, apparatus and equipment minimums. Engine company or a pumper gives you 654 points on the evaluation for each engine company. Equipment cost for minimum, $125,000 in addition to the truck. Okay? In addition to the truck. Properly equipped, you're looking at about $200,000 of equipment on the truck. Ladder trucks, 834 points. $200,000 minimally equipped. Properly equipped, around $300,000. A heavy squad, which is basically a ladder truck without the big ladder on top of it, it's a rolling toolbox. 334 points, $175,000 worth of equipment. Properly equipped, about $275,000. That's just equipment. Tanker and attenders, 0 points. And in a rural situation like us, that's a critical element to have. Equipment, $100,000. Properly equipped, $150,000. Now, the equipment for the pumpers is based on a 1,250 gallon per minute pumper, which is kind of mid-range for the county, equipped with 5-inch LDH and 3-inch supply line. LDH is large diameter hose, 5-inch I was talking about, an 1 3/4 attack hose. Just as an example, 5-inch hose now, if you go to buy it, it's like $7 a foot. So if you got 1,000 feet, you got $7,000 of hose on the back of each truck. Not to mention all the bells and whistles that have to go along with it to make it useful. Reducing the rate cost. Our department got a $1.5 million truck. That's what we would have to pay for it if we went to buy it today for $7,000. That's because our chief looks out for deals like that. So do the members on the department. And when we see one, we jump on it. It aids us in making our money go farther. We're very good stewards of the money that we're allotted from the county and from the fire tax. $600,000 engine company. We got one for $10,000 about a year and a half, 2 years ago out of Sampson County. They're used, but they're new to us and we can make them work. 1,000 feet of 5-inch LDH, that's $7,000 new. We got it for free. We got it for free. And the most of the reflective water point signs that we're going to have to use have been donated to us by another fire department that we work with that wants to see us reduce our rate so they can go do the same thing. Cost benefit. For each rate reduction, commercial and residential, customers in our district will see an insurance rate reduction of 12% compounded. Once we get down to a rating of 6, it's only good for your commercial properties from there down. Residential properties, once you hit a 6, that's as good as it gets. But still, 12% compounded. That's a considerable amount of money. And even at the tax rate that we have in our district, or even if we ask to increase a couple cents, we'd still be putting money back in the people's pockets. Okay. Timetable. We're hoping we'll be ready by January 2026 to submit the request for inspection to NCOSFM. After that, it may be 3, 4, 6 months before they come in and inspect us. Now, this requires us to have 3 years or possibly 5 years of records. Financial records, the response records, the whole ball of wax. Because when they come in and they want to see it, we can't go looking for it. We've got to have it ready. Next question. How much would it cost the county to provide this service? If you had to staff fire stations, 5 fire stations, 24 hours a day with career firefighters at an average salary of about $60,000 a person per year. Because when you factor in the captains and the engineers and the firefighters, you're figuring around 60 a year, plus the benefits for 24/7 protection. That'd be with 2 pumper tankers, a brush truck first responder unit, 3 modern ladder trucks somewhere in the county, and 2 heavy service companies. The cost would be astronomical. It shudders, it just makes you shudder to even think about it on how much it would be. Even if our fire district increased their tax rate to 15 cents on 100 or asked you to do that for us, we're still a deal. We're still a deal. And you're dealing with volunteers. We don't get reimbursed. We do this because basically nobody else will. And we know there's a need for it. And we have that compassion for the people that we serve. The decision is, what is best for our citizens in your fire district and your voters? It's up for you to decide on your end of it of what you can do. We need those Viper radios. You need to be in control of your communication system, not have a company be in control of it. And we need your help. Next one, please. Are there any questions, gentlemen?
As usual, I always have questions. Back to, you were talking about the water supply. Years ago, I think it was Soil and Water or the government would help farmers or people out in the community build ponds.
Yes, sir.
Those days are gone, apparently. Is there any credit to the people that live in that community if there's a pond built that meets the state's specifications to be able to draw water out of, especially those people that are in gray areas, which we have quite a few in this county.
Yes, sir, there is. The way that it's factored out is the state looks at how fast you can get that water there, offload it, and go get another load and bring it back. So the closer the water points are to the buildings that are being protected or the areas that are being protected, the better off the people are. So if we've got a bunch of water points, which we do, and we've got them located and identified, that's going to be beneficial to everybody in that fire district and in the gray areas. And with us getting ready to basically set up our substation and get it certified by the state of North Carolina, that will allow us to take in additional area that previously right now that is gray area and actually rate it. So they'll get the benefit of the rating also.
So are you saying that if you had a pond or several ponds, what would be the radius of that protection for those people if they're within a quarter of a mile, half a mile, 2 miles?
What they usually looked at was having one every 3 linear miles. Every 3 linear miles on a roadway, so that you had to go no farther from anywhere on a roadway than 1.5 miles to reach a water point.
Just like a fire hydrant every 1,000 feet.
Yes, sir. It's the exact same idea. It's the exact same idea.
So as being a homeowner and we have these ponds, are you saying we'll get a 12% reduction?
For each rate that we lower, if we go from a 9S to a 6, that'll be 12% from 9 to 8, then 12% of that 12% from 8 to 7, 12% from that from 7 to 6. And that's the way it drops. So you get compounded reduction at 12% a rate. And what we're shooting for right now, I believe Chief's wanting to shoot for a 5, correct, Chief? And I think we've achieved that. I think we have achieved that. I think we're going to do actually better than that.
Now, if at a pond, you happen to have a fire hydrant that goes into the pond to hook up to your water tankers?
No, sir. No, sir. That's the idea with a pumper truck. A pumper truck can pull up over there, dump what we call a hard tube in the water with a floating suction device and can draw that water out of there. So we don't have to have dry hydrants. Dry hydrants are nice, but unfortunately in some areas, especially a lot of rural areas, and the problem we had with them in Cumberland County and Harnett County was during deer season, they became a way of sighting in your shotgun or your rifle. And if there's holes in them, we can't draft water out of them.
Another question, you're talking about the communications. Over the years, Tammy, Bill, even Greg's been here, that the county has spent a lot of money. I thought we were upgrading our communications. And from what you said, we're not very good.
We've got areas in the county, not just in our fire district, but other fire districts, that you cannot communicate.
Well, I mean,
They may be able to communicate,
though?
sir, they may be able to communicate with us. Central or Alleghany may be able to communicate with us, but we may not be able to reach them. And a lot of it has to do with geography, line of sight to the towers, the power of the radios, repeaters, and all that sort of stuff that they've got with the communication system. One of the things that has gone into play now is this North Carolina Viper system. And I can tell you personally, because I did it, with a walkie-talkie standing in Wilkesboro, walkie-talkie, limited range usually. I talked to Sampson County, North Carolina, and was just as clear as me talking to you right now using the Viper system. It will reduce the problems with the communications by probably, it's not going to take it all away, but I'd say by 90% it would reduce it.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in the Viper system. I've thought that for several years. That's the Cadillac of the communication system.
And unfortunately, sometimes we have to go Cadillacs.
Well, it is. It's an expensive project. They're roughly about $7,000 a radio, and it's expensive.
Yeah, here is one. We have one on our department because they're so high. And that's why when we come up here and ask for money, and everybody's like, well, what do you do with it? Right there, $7,000. Okay. Our insurance at the firehouse is $35,000 a year. So, you know how long it takes long to get rid of the money? It don't take long. People don't understand that. You know, you got some that don't care and want to put you down, but the money's used wisely, very wisely, all the money. And it takes money to operate. The county knows that more than anybody. But it's going to take money to get this rating lowered, is what we're here tonight for, is to tell you that things just don't happen overnight, and it's going to cost money to do it. So when we come back and talk to you about some of these things, instead of turning a deaf ear to us, maybe you need to listen, because Lee knows his business on this. Lee's been working hard to help us in Glade Creek. We're very fortunate to have him. We are very fortunate because he knows what he's doing, and he's a great asset to us. I'll tell you, he's just a great asset. And when y'all talking, you can't spend a dime of money out of the budget to help with some of this. I don't know how we're going to do it. I just don't. This new budget, this agreement that we've come out with, where we can't give anybody a dime of money to help do this, I don't know. I just don't understand y'all's idea on that. You want us to lower the rating, and we're working every day to lower it, but he drove all the way to the beach, pick up hose for nothing. I mean, you can't ask a man to do but so much. And I honestly believe that some of this stuff to help lower this rating, we're going to have to pay these people a little bit to help do this because it's taking so much time. And y'all need to take that into consideration. You really do. Make it a volunteer firefighter is one thing, but when you're going out here and lowering all these ratings, it's going to take time and it's going to take money. And we need to be able to compensate them just a little. I don't mean put them on no budget, no salary or nothing like that, but they need some fuel money and wear and tear on vehicles. And it just, y'all don't understand it. I can write anything on paper, but that don't bring the stuff into the firehouse. They really don't. And so I want y'all to take into consideration that we may have to spend a little of this money in order to help lower this rating, to help some of these people do this. It's nothing but common sense. I mean, y'all got a hard job. I ain't saying you ain't. And y'all get some money for doing it. And that's good. I ain't got nothing against that. I mean, but, you know, but you can't give him a dime of money? I don't understand that. That's wrong. That's wrong. I'll just tell you, it's not right. Not right at all. Because we're going to have to compensate some of these boys for what they're doing. So that's part of the reason I'm here. And we are putting our substation in, getting it going to help cover our gray areas. We'll soon have all of our gray areas covered. So that's what we're working towards right now, and also the rating lowering. So, but I want to thank y'all for your time. I hope this has helped y'all, and you've all learned. We're learning every day. Every day as we go, we learn, and I hope this has helped you all. And if you got any questions at any time, we'd be glad to help. Lee would. I will. We'll be glad to come back. I know it's in our new contract about y'all wanted to update to where we's at. So this is where we're at. So
Can we get a copy of the PowerPoint, put in our boxes?
I'll be glad to make it for you, and I'll send it to whoever you need me to send it to.
Thank you.
That also has contact information if you need to get in touch with me about anything that you have a question on. You know, if you can't get over with the chief, don't hesitate to give me a call. I'll be glad to answer it for you. We're talking off the same sheet of music.
yeah.
It's the same sheet of music that's used statewide.
Any other questions?
No.
Bill, got any questions, Elon?
No.
We
Thank y'all.
Appreciate your time.
Thank y'all for your
Appreciate what you're
time.
doing.
We appreciate y'all.
Thank
Thank
y'all.
you. Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Shepard.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. Good job.
Okay, moving on down, section B, general business for information. Clerk of court. Reappoint Cynthia Atwood for another 2-year term as jury commissioner. Do I hear a motion to do so?
That's just information.
This is for
Oh, that's
information.
right, good. Yeah, I'm sorry. Got the cart before the horse. Got the cart before the horse. That'll come up in 2 weeks, I assume. Transfer facility, Mr. Spicer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and the board. So I was approached by Mr. Jones, who lost his house January the 9th of this year. He is requesting that we waive the transfer facility fees for the remaining part of his house that he needs to dispose of. So I told Mr. Jones that he asked about this, and I told him that I would have to take it before the Board of Commissioners, and that was done on a case-by-case basis. So this is for your information this time around, and in mid-month meeting, I'll ask for approval or disapproval for that.
Any questions on that? Moving on down, opioid litigation update. Ms. Heather Klein.
You guys will all see in your packet, there's additional information that I just received from the attorneys that are representing the settlement. There potentially is quite a bit of additional settlement that might come in, and this is from multiple other defendants who might be settling. Some are going through the bankruptcy court, others are just part of the settlement. So I don't know if this is going to be on for a vote next time. I'll just have to go back through and some of the emails that I'm receiving to determine what they want us to do and what timeline that's going to be on. But I wanted you to see this information to know that there will be a request for us to be involved in these settlements, the additional multiple defendants that are going to be included. Now, what exactly that's going to mean for Alleghany County, I'm not sure, because I don't know, as we've had with other settlements, we get a portion of it, and I think it's based on population. So I don't really know, because these are only proposals. So unless we have enough plaintiffs sign on, that's going to depend, the number of people that are involved in these settlements with defendants and plaintiffs. That'll make the difference as to what we end up with. So I don't have any estimates right now. I mean, these are really large numbers, but we get a very small percentage out of the large numbers. But I wanted you all to know that when they ask for this to be voted on, I'll provide the information, and then we might need to act quickly, at a meeting coming up, once they provide the information for us to vote on. So I just wanted you to see it, to know that it's coming up. I just don't know the timeline for how quickly it might come up either.
All right, any questions for Heather? We appreciate it. Moving on down, general business for action. Settlement fiscal year 24-25. Ms. Rita Miller, tax administrator.
Good evening.
Evening.
So every year at this meeting, I have to come forth and bring the settlement to you. So in your packet, the first section is the general statute regarding settlement. The second part of it, these are unpaid 2024 as of when I ran the report on the first. That's important to know. All of these are 2024 tax bills, but there are gap vehicle bills in here, and there are present use value deferred bills in here that have just been created. These don't become past due until September 1st. So they're current bills, but they're still a 2024 bill. So any questions on any of this?
Any questions? We need a motion on this.
Not on this one.
Okay.
So
All right.
the next one is the insolvents from 2014. So this year there are 6 on there. They're all personal property. And so it's either going to be a mobile home or camper, and there's 1 business personal. And we have exhausted all of our resources to collect those. They're now 10 years old. So we're just asking if you would deem those to be insolvent,
Okay.
and that would need a vote.
Okay, need a motion to take action upon these.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, raise your hand. 5-0.
The next sheet is the actual settlement for 2024 taxes. And so I'm just going to go over the first line, which is county tax. Beginning balance, that's what your original 2024 tax bills were. Discovery column, that's going to be your public utility billing and anything we've discovered, PUV rollbacks, unlisted taxes, things like that. It's that column. Releases are things that has came before the board to be released. You can only release for 3 reasons, that being a clerical error, an illegal tax, or a tax for an illegal purpose. Write-offs, that's things that have been paid that had a balance less than $1 still due, and the system automatically writes that off. That all comes under state statute. So that brings us to our current levy, or what was actually billed for 2024. Discounts is the amount that was allowed during August payments. That's that 2% discount. Then you have your payment column. That's what we've actually taken in. So we have a balance left of $225,000 for 2024 taxes. I think that's pretty good out of that total levy. So we've collected 101% of the original levy or beginning balance. We've got a collection rate of a 98.10. Of what our levy is right now, which that's actually better than what I was expecting it to be, considering that our staff changes and retirements and things like that.
All
So
right.
I'm pleased with that. So, and I hope you all are.
Very good collection rate. Outstanding, really. That's a good number.
So the next sheet is your vehicle tax system settlement. The first line is Alleghany, and your net collections was $1,125,000 for vehicle taxes. There were 15,351 vehicles in the county.
Okay.
And then the last thing, which does require a vote, and that is the order to collect. And this is where you are authorizing, empowering, and commanding me to collect the 2025 tax bills.
Need a motion on order to collect.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion, Greg. Need a second.
Second.
Timmy second. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. 5-0.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa, I'll get with you later this week to get that picked up. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rita.
Okay, lease agreement, probation, parole office, April.
So this lease agreement was presented to you at the last meeting for information. This is for the probation office. It's a $1 lease. It has been something that,
Get a little closer.
this was presented to you at the last meeting. It's the $1 lease for the probation office that's located in the courthouse.
Motion to approve the lease agreement for probation and parole office and courthouse.
Second.
Motion and second by Greg, motion by Timmy. Any further discussion? Not all in favor? 5-0. Rescue squad agreement with other clients.
This was also presented at the last meeting. The question had been asked about making sure that, one, we added in the audit, which there's a highlighted section that you can see that we did add in the audit, and that was based off the recommendation of our auditors. And then additionally, that the squad members have a valid driver's license if they're operating any squad equipment. And I had a conversation or text with Jason Long, the chief, today, and he did say that they amended their bylaws, and now their bylaws do require all of the members who are operating equipment have to have a valid driver's license, and they have to have evidence of that. So that shouldn't be an issue because they realized that it was a requirement for themselves. So they're in agreement with these two adjustments that are made in the highlighted area.
Need a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion, a second by Greg. Any further discussion? Not all in favor? 5-0. Ag Advisory Board, new member approval.
Are we on item 5?
Yep.
For Ricky Brown?
4.
No,
Four.
4. Ag Advisory Board,
Oh, item 4.
right here. New members coming on is Travis Dalton, renewal is a 3-year term, and Dustin Sheets is a 2-year term.
I'll move to accept.
Wait a minute, I misspoke at. New members is Maggie Osborne and Keith Bryan as new members that will replace Johnny Wishon and Stacy Barker. Maggie Osborne and Keith Klein is 2 new folks.
I'll move to accept.
Bobby made a motion to accept.
Second.
Got a second. Greg, any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Okay. Flipping over to number 5, appointment of Ricky Brown, Board of Trustees, Wilkes Community College.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
If I may, it was years ago that I recommended Ricky for this position. He served, I believe, 2 terms. He's third. He's highly thought of at Wilkes because of his financial background. And I've spoken with him, and obviously he would like to be reappointed. So I would make that motion.
Got a motion to reappoint. Here a second.
Second.
Second by Greg. Any further discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Okay, MOU for the farmer's market. County Manager, Mr. Bill Shapley.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. If you don't mind, I'd just like to take a second and just introduce the county to my wonderful wife, Lori Shepley. We've been married for, I better get this right. I should have written it down. 38 years, is that right? But we dated each other for 7 years, but she always reminds me. So we've been together for 45 years. And she has made my life tremendously better. I appreciate you. The MOU that we have completed, it was done between the town, the county, and the extension agency. And you guys have had it for review, and it's time for you all to, with your approval, to go ahead and make that into a reality. The town has approved it, and we're ready for ours unless you have any questions.
Open floor for
I make a motion that we approve the MOU for the farmer's market.
a motion. Here a second.
Second.
Bobby seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Line item transfer, Ms. April Ann.
So we have a few things for finance this evening, and I believe this one has changed just a little bit for DSS. Yes. So for DSS, we need to make money for computer equipment and the bank fees. And the bank fees were added since your packet was delivered to you. So.
Okay.
And the money is available.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to transfer.
There's a motion, needs a second. Garrison, second. Any further discussion? Not all in favor? 5-0. Go right ahead.
Okay. The next one is for the detention center. This is actually for the housing of the prisoner expense, utilities, and the liability and hospital inmate insurance cost. And all the money is available within that budget.
Okay, open floor for motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Got a motion, Bob, and seconded by Timmy. Any further discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Go right ahead.
Okay. The next one is actually a pretty large one for the transfer facility. We do have 40,000 that we can transfer within the budget, but the disposal cost has come in over our budgeted amounts. So you're going to see a line item transfer and you're going to see a budget amendment for the transfer facility.
Okay. Your motion?
Motion to approve line item transfer for transfer facility disposal costs.
Motion, Timmy, need a second.
Second.
Second by Greg. Any further discussion? All in favor? 5-0. April.
Okay. And then the next one is actually the budget amendment for the transfer facility for the additional cost for disposal. We have a lot of stuff running through the transfer facility. So that's $80,000 altogether that we're putting in that line.
Well,
So just to let you know that.
total of $80,000 there. Okay, need a motion.
So moved.
Bobby made a motion, need a second.
Second.
Timmy seconded. Any further discussion? Where's all the extra? Is this extra or just that much more?
Well, 40 is that much more in that line item for disposal cost. And David's here to answer questions too, if we need him. The 40,000 we had within the budget to be able to move around, but that 40,000 will come out of the appropriated fund balance just for the transfer facility. The transfer facility is there. They have their separate fund balance that is totally separate from the general fund balance, and the money is available.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Okay.
Okay, the next one is actually the commissioner's budget and the county manager's budget. In the commissioner's budget, we had an additional liability expense for New River Behavioral Health. That's something that's just on the books that we have to pay for. So there was some additional expense that came in with that. Everything else is just moving money around, cellular phones, retirement expense, FICA, projects and promotions is just covering. Everything is available, but just covering the cost in those line items.
Okay.
Are we still working with paying some of the New River mental health? That's a long time ago. Isn't
That
it?
has been a long time, and a lot of it is storage costs,
Oh,
but
storage.
some of it is legal cost as well.
Okay.
And we have no choice.
Right.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the line item transfer commissioner and administrative budget.
Second.
Motion, Timmy, second by Bobby. Any further discussion? Not all in favor? 5-0. Okay, April.
Okay. Your next one is a budget amendment. This is number 16 for the year for the general fund. And this is actually additional sales tax that has been received for school capital outlay.
Okay, open floor for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Harrison made the motion, Greg seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Okay, April, one more time.
Okay, and your last budget amendment, number 17 for the general fund, is just additional vehicle taxes that have been received that will pass through. I believe this is for the town of Sparta, for the county and the town of Sparta.
Is that broke down? Which one's the county?
No, I do not have it broke
Okay,
down, but I do
okay.
believe most of these are going to the town of Sparta.
Okay. Okay, need a motion there.
Someone,
Second.
Bobby made the motion, Greg or Garrison seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. County manager's comments.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, have been very pleased that, I guess about a week ago, I sent out notice to all my department heads that I wanted their accomplishments over the last 6 months, so I could come in and give you guys a full report of what's happened over the last 6 months. And, always remember, and I know you all do know this, but what I accomplish is what they accomplish. They're the ones that are on the front lines. I get the honor of leading these folks. But this group of people that we have here is outstanding. And I am extremely honored to be the one that has the opportunity to lead them. And they have, the amount of things that they've done over this last 6 months is amazing. So much so that I have more stuff that I've gotten from them than I expected to get. And what I'm going to do is work with Lisa, and we're going to put together a comprehensive presentation to you to summarize what they've said that they've accomplished over the last 6 months, kind of blended in with what our collective vision is for where we're heading, and why these things that they've done are important to helping us get there. And I'm going to present that to you at the next. I was planning on doing it at this board meeting, and actually, my wife said that she came in particular to hear that, but which I just found out, But I think that it's something that is going to take a little bit more time to put together than what I anticipated. So we'll have that for you at the next meeting.
That'd be interesting. County commissioner comments. We'll start, I guess, Garrison on the end over.
Not a whole lot, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. Hope everybody had a good 4th of July, and that's all I got.
Bobby? Thank you, Garrison.
I think like the Garrison, we had a great parade. A lot of people, and it's amazing how many young children that you notice while you're going down through the parade. I think our school system has a lot of students coming along, so we're in good shape there, I hope. Couple of comments. I'm not sure why we're not seeing any signage at the fairgrounds on our board that we have. There in the past, we had something just about all the time. And I think the fairgrounds, we had some type of agreement with the people. We were letting store their vehicles there. They're supposed to cut down some trees. That's been going on for months and months and months. And they've only cut one tree down. So I think we need to, I know they're probably busy, but we need that fairgrounds looking good for these upcoming events that we're having. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. I don't have much either. The 4th of July was a beautiful weekend. I hope everybody had a great 4th. I just sitting at my house. You can see a lot of fireworks are going off around the community, and a beautiful weekend. You couldn't ask for better weather. A lot of people out and about. Campgrounds are full, and I was glad to see that. That's come back to life after Helene back there, and that's been a positive thing. Fiddlers Convention's coming up next week, I believe, right? Week from,
Third weekend.
yeah, not this week, next week. So that's all participating in that. And the fair coming up in September, we got that to look forward to, and doing a lot of work on that. They putting a lot of things together out there. That's it for me. Timmy?
Not a lot. There's been a lot said, so I don't want to take up a lot more time. But just to say, again, thank all of our county staff. I appreciate Bill and really appreciate Lisa's taking on this job, and I'm glad that we have all the people in place that we need, and thank April and David and just all of our staff. You know, we go about our business every day doing our work and stuff, and if you don't, unless a cog gets messed up here, you don't ever hear about anything, and that's a good thing, you know. So I do appreciate all of our county people, and I hope everybody did have a fun July the 4th, and appreciate Ms. Shepley for sacrificing you to help us. And he doesn't say anything bad about you. Yeah. But anyway, that's about all I have, and that's it.
Thank you, Tim. Greg?
I hope everybody had a good 4th. And I guess ice shirts for everybody. That's all I got.
Thank you, Greg. With that, we'll got a request to go into closed session.
Just take a break. About 5 minutes.
General Statute 143-318.11.A-4, discuss economic development. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to go into closed session.
And we're going to take a 10-minute break.